This is the IC Pixels podcast with David and Anthony Cavens. We're going to talk about design in everyday situations. All right, welcome back. This is the IC Pixels podcast. This is Anthony.
This is David.
And we're here to talk about some new things this week. And we have a guest this week, and that's cool. 2 times in a row.
It's a new record.
Yeah, the longest streak of guests we've ever had.
So who are we talking to this week?
Oh, we're talking to Gianna Snell.
Never heard of her.
Yeah, me neither. But yeah, we found somebody to talk to. Something recently happened in her life. That sounded like it was never mind. Something recently happened, and we want to talk about it and how it relates to her business and what she does and everything. So it'll probably be best that we bring her in now. That way, we're just not talking about her like she's not here.
Well, I guess we could say Gianna Snell is a photographer. We've known her
We're
for
supposed to ask her that.
Oh,
Gianna, what do you do?
I am a photographer
Oh, okay.
in Huntsville, Alabama.
we wanted to talk to you about photography in general, but we had some specific stuff to talk about first. But I guess to start off, like, why did you get into photography? I've recently started, I guess, taking photography more seriously. But what got you into it, and what made you actually want to do it professionally?
Growing up, I think I was around 5 when my dad gave me my first camera for Christmas. I grew up watching him taking pictures of everything related to family and events. He even did it for his job. And so growing up, I just had a natural interest in it because I always saw him doing it, and I'm just a visual person. And so once I got my first camera, I was always shooting different things, trying to follow him around. And by the time I got to high school, I was, taking pictures for the campus, the yearbook photographer. I was in the darkroom developing pictures for the newspaper, school newspaper, the school yearbook, getting high on all of the different chemicals, but I loved it. And
The
by the
getting high
time
part, or
If we need to edit any of that part out, just let us know. You were back there huffing chemicals with all the stoners.
not intentionally, no, but that stuff is kind of strong. That fixer is real strong.
It never starts out intentionally. Like the first time I did crack, it was totally an accident.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, it's like just I'm glad I had that experience of working in the dark room because that was, that was Photoshop back then. Oh, it's a little too dark. Let me leave it, let me tweak it. So
yeah.
I'm glad I got that experience. And by the time I graduated from high school, I was seriously considering majoring in photography, but I didn't know, if there was such a thing or, could I really make a career out of this? But I ended up going to college and majoring in it, and I've been doing it now off and on ever since I graduated about 13 years ago.
Well.
So do it.
But I was always wondering, it's like, have you ever was there ever a point where you considered not being a photographer?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Several times. I actually started another degree, a master's degree in special education because I was just so frustrated trying to start my business. We were living in small towns in Mississippi and Kentucky, and it was just like, okay, there's not much going on here. So it was very challenging to get my business off the ground. So I started this other degree and ended up coming back to the realization that this is my calling. This is what I've been called to do, and I don't know how to get around that. This is what doesn't feel like work. This is what I'm passionate about. So, I got to go all in.
Well, I think I was gonna ask, but I'll start with a statement because in one of our previous episodes we talked about kind of how we got into doing design work and the things that we do, and one of the major influences was that we saw people in our family, friends, like relatives, that type of thing, doing what we wanted to do or something adjacent to what we like, doing design or creative things and getting paid to do it.
Yeah.
Because like, and I think you can say whether or not it seemed like it's true for you. You saw an example growing up, so it
Was your
feasible.
family like that growing up?
Absolutely. I mean, my dad, he was, a pastor by what he went to school to do, but thankfully over the years, he said, let me develop some of these other gifts. And he started doing graphic design and opened his own business, opened his own publishing business. He never fully 100% pursued photography, but because those things go hand in hand with graphic design and communications, which is his field, he was able to incorporate all of that and actually hire me as a high schooler and say, hey, I got to photograph this event. You're going to be my assistant. This is how much you're going to get paid. Here's your camera. Go do it. And so he had a huge influence in, helping me get over some fears and just helping to believe in me, because I still face, a lot of people come up to me like, hey, so you're a photographer? Like, is that a real job?
Can you take this?
Do you actually?
Can you take this selfie
Like
for
you
me
bet.
right quick?
Right.
Like, these checks are real.
Right.
What kind of selfie stick would you recommend?
What's your favorite filter on Instagram?
Like, so I really like the Nashville filter and the I don't
Cashville.
I don't even know the names of the rest of the filters. I just remember Nashville.
Effie and no.
I think
Yeah.
that's really key because I think a lot of people that go, because I've had friends even that wanted to go into creative fields, but then someone was like, "Come on, son, you're gonna be a doctor, or a lawyer, or a preacher, or like the typical fields that people consider successful or things where you can make money." And I think that's it's fine if you want to play it safe, but I think I've definitely seen some people that I thought were more talented than me just end up being a doctor or something. And it's like, okay, you save some people's lives, but
Like, yeah.
But is that really what you love to
Yeah.
do, though? I mean, are you happy?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, that's like I was watching like America's Got Talent. There's mad people that come on there. They're like lawyers or whatever else. I mean, they're terrible when they come on there, but it's like they feel passionate for this other thing. I mean, they're terrible at this other thing also, but I don't know. But I don't know. It's like that's really where they want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because man, I think like since we're all in the creative field, there's always a point where you're like, wait a minute, wouldn't it be easier if I just went and
Yes. Yes, it would.
yeah, but ease is not always like what's easy doesn't always feel good.
No. Yeah. That's so true.
Yeah. That. Never mind.
Yeah, I had something. Never mind.
Yeah, we're just gonna leave that alone. I mean, and also, I mean, sometimes what you think is easy, it's even more frustrating if that doesn't work out. Like you put your all into, because of know multiple people, they go, they start a different major because it's like, all right, fine, screw this, whatever thing I really want to do, I'm gonna do this because there's money in it, and so like 3 false starts of majors down the line, it's like, you got nothing to show for it, or sometimes you do make it, but you still may never be happy or feel like you could have really pursued, done something else,
Right.
because I know for me, like everybody, there's a lot of people that knew how to draw and growing up and everything, but like some of them were better than me, but they stopped. And I kept on going, so now they're like, ooh. Every once in a while I get somebody, hey, you still draw? And I'm like, yeah. Sorta.
You still mess around with those cameras?
Like, have you been to my website? Clearly you're not following my blog.
You need to go with me.
Claps hands in between the words.
So, what type of photos what's your favorite type of photos to take? Since there's lots of photos to take. these days?
I love taking pictures of people. I had the opportunity to go to Africa as a photography major. That was my junior year. All the photography majors went, and we went on a 2-week safari. The whole time we were shooting lions, and we were in the Serengeti shooting elephants and zebras. And as exhilarating as that was, the last day we were there, we went to a village and we went to a school. And we went to the Maasai village and we saw all of these little children and the dancers and the tribes. There was just like a whole nother wave of invigoration that washed over me. And it was that moment that I knew, okay, I'm not a nature or landscape photographer. I love people. I love capturing emotion. I love capturing connection. And so whether that's families, um, events, birthday parties, children, any of that. I just love having people in front of my lens and just capturing them and telling their story.
That's great.
That that brings up a couple of I have a couple of comments on that. Like one, like I didn't realize I either didn't know or didn't realize that you did that.
What,
And
photography?
you should talk to my no, that she went to Africa. I feel like wait a minute, when did that happen? Um, and also that's you should talk to my son because he says he wants to take pictures of animals. And then also, do you have any of those
Nice.
pictures? 'Cause he want to
Absolutely.
next time
Yeah.
he comes over, you should talk to him.
Show him, talk to
Yeah,
him. Okay. I
yeah.
would love that.
Um, I forgot my final point.
I was gonna say, so I've always known how to take pictures, but I was never good. Like I never had a good camera or like invested that much into it because I'm cheap. That's a whole nother episode we can have about how cheap I am. But I recently got a camera and I shoot like random stuff, like your food and flowers and stuff like that. But I can understand the
Mhm.
joy of shooting people because people, they really open up and like you really make a
Mhm.
connection with people. And I actually like shooting little. Nah, that sounds weird, but I shooting kids is fun sometimes too, and I like that. And then
It
one
is.
thing about
Yeah.
that it sounded weird. Yeah,
Photographing
photographing
kids.
children with their consent.
Yeah.
No Sandusky over here.
What?
Um,
What?
so,
I,
so you just got to be clear these days. So,
Yeah, you do.
I feel like you have to be extra clear. That you make
yeah,
it a
it
little more
sounds like you're
suspect.
trying to prove something to yourself. But I had
No
I had a
offense,
real
but
serious thing I was gonna say. Oh, so when I first got my camera one time, we were at a friend's house, and I didn't really know how to use it that well, but I was just shooting like people around, like stuff that was happening, and there was this little girl there,
Mhm.
and she asked to use the camera, and I always let my kids use the camera because like they're my kids. If they break it, like they'll just be punished, and I'll stop loving them or something. But it's okay. But this other little girl, I didn't know her, but I let her use it, and I showed her like, here's how you press the button to make it take the picture, take the lens cap off, that type of stuff. And she was running around taking pictures of stuff, and some of her pictures actually came out pretty good. So took the camera back,
Mm.
and then let's say like
took credit
yeah,
for the
upload it on my
pictures.
Instagram, tag myself. Like, yeah, respect the shooter. But she so I saw her like 6 months later. And we went to another event with the
Mhm.
same similar people, and her mom came up to me and like, and I happened to have my camera again. Her mom was like, "Thanks a lot. You made me spend like $200 on a camera for her." And I was like, oh, "I didn't do anything."
Wow.
But apparently, ever since that time, she had been asking her mother, "Yo, I want a camera. I want a camera. I want a camera. I want a nice camera," because she wanted to take good pictures and she wanted to be able to, like she was really into photography now, and she was only like 7 or 8,
Mm.
maybe. I don't know. I don't be keeping up with kids' ages, but I saw how just letting them play with my camera had a big impact on them because I've let several other kids play with my camera just because I had it around and they were like, I want to do that too. So now if they ask, I let them
Mm.
play with it because just like in your situation, Gianna, you had the opportunity to take pictures because your dad got you a camera, and I wonder if
Yeah.
more parents
if you let your kids
Well,
play
no,
with
that
your
wasn't a
camera.
question. But I think a lot of parents are like,
Nope.
they
Nope.
just get like they get their kids the stereotypical
They
thing.
need to find their own goals.
Like most kids, I'm sure they'll be satisfied if you just get them an Xbox, or you get them some Jordans, or you get them a PlayStation or whatever to play with. But maybe you could get them a violin or a camera or some color
Mm-hmm.
pencils or
That
something. Maybe not color.
what? How are you going to compare those like a Xbox or PlayStation or some Jordans, or you could get them a
No, but I'm
violin?
saying
Like,
like you could get both, or you can get something to help inspire their creativity. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, no, I understand they need to learn different things, but like when you just put those next to each other, like here, what do you want?
Well, I'm saying
What do
like
you think the kids?
if I really enjoy music or I really enjoy photography, then I might actually prefer a camera over a PlayStation.
Mm. Yeah. And it's something that you can use to make money. A violin, a piano, all of those things. A lot of times back in the day, we didn't think of it that way, but now those gifts can come in
Yep.
handy, you know. Um,
Yeah.
so it's good to know different skills and be able to use different things, work with our hands. It's a good thing. And I look back on those days and I'm glad that my dad got me a camera. And now my children are asking, "Mommy, when are you gonna buy me a camera?"
You're like,
And
no, go a different way. Get your own goals.
right, I bought them a little toy camera from Walmart. They're like, "No, no, no, we want the real thing, Mommy. What is this?"
Yeah, you can't play that off
So,
when you got like real stuff later. It's like,
right.
Like, why is my camera so bright and
no.
colorful?
Like, can I borrow your 85 to put on this toy camera? No.
But I've actually
Is
had
this Nikon?
I actually had some parents approach me recently. I was shooting an event and they came up to me. Their son had just graduated with a photography degree from Southern University, and they were asking me, how did I get the gig to shoot this event? How do I attract clients and all of these questions? And then, come to find out, they were just really concerned almost that their
Oh,
son will really be able to make a career out of this. They're trying to be supportive and they want to support his dream and his passion, but you can tell in the back of their head they were like, okay, is this really a career?
they're asking at like the
Not a
graduation, like.
no. I guess he had just graduated like a couple weeks before.
Oh,
And
okay.
they were just like, how does he get into, he's working for one of those things like, the photography companies that come around and do churches and do, their like a photo book with the
Oh
directory
yeah,
type of
yeah.
thing.
Oh,
So they were like, we know that that's not a long-term thing. So how does he transition from that to working for himself and actually being successful at it? Um, you know,
because he's in our basement and
Can he work for you, please? He needs an internship.
now he's living on his own, but they were saying he's only making enough to like cover his cell phone bill, like a little apartment, and it's not. And so they were just wondering, okay, is it possible? And so they were actually encouraged. They were like, wow, so you work for yourself and you contracted this, you got this job through a contract and da 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 da. Da. And I said, well, yeah, it takes time to build your business, but it's doable. It's
Did you
totally
did you
doable.
flash them keys to the
yeah.
Bentley? Like, you see this car I'm driving? No, you know where I live.
Goodness.
I wish. I'm claiming it though. I really do. I do believe it's possible.
Yeah,
Now I do.
anything is possible.
Now,
But I mean, so
Yeah.
that's a whole nother discussion. Maybe we'll have another episode about that. But like, college honestly doesn't prepare you for a lot of what you're going to need to do after college to actually get a job.
So true.
oh, yeah, no, not at all.
And I mean, I won't
Yeah.
say especially in photography, but like in my field, they just kind of left me out there. I got one internship, and I used that to turn my course into doing web design versus doing what I went to school for. But yeah, coming out of college, I would hope that you got a plan figured out and have something worked out. But yeah, oftentimes they just like, all right, good luck. Here's a piece of paper, and Sally's gonna be calling next
Well,
week.
I
Right.
mean, when you're in the in creative field, I feel like they already don't expect you to do much, so they're just like, "All right, you're done. Here's an
Right.
application to Starbucks. Good job." But
Yeah.
maybe
And
so. I mean, because I know other places you can get internships and all this kind of stuff and work your way into the system, and then but it's like I don't know if you can. Well, I guess there was way there you can do that. It's not impossible, but it's not. It's like it's not connected to the school generally.
right. And I guess one frustrating thing for me along my journey, it doesn't bother me as much now, but I kept saying, well, the barrier for entry into photography and a lot of the creative fields is so low. So I went to school, paid, thousands of dollars to get a degree to be a photographer. And yesterday, somebody bought a camera from Best Buy and said, I'm a photographer, book me. And I'm just like, okay, wow. And because of,
I
YouTube and the different tutorials and everything, there's
mm,
just, a lot going on. But I think it calls you to really go back to saying what makes me unique, because there's always going to be thousands of people in your field, whether you're a hairdresser, whether you're if you own your own business, there's always going to be competition, but you have to focus in and hone in on what you do best and just go for it.
I feel personally targeted by that statement because I went to Best Buy.
Well, I think that's happening in a lot of like kind of tech related fields, in tech and creative fields, like in web design. You
Yeah.
could just go to Squarespace and get a site that's going to look like you might have paid a more expensive developer to do it. But I know that there's things I
Mhm.
can do for you that you can't get through Squarespace, and the same with photography. I'm sure there's things that you could do for someone that the random Instagram photographer can't do. Because that's another thing. Like,
Right.
Once again, I feel targeted.
I'm not talking about you specifically, Anthony, but because like Instagram does make you throw a couple filters on there, you get a few hundred likes on a picture, and you feel like, son, I'm gonna start a business, and then but
Yeah.
Yeah, people start contacting you
who
too.
took this
Hey,
picture?
can you do my wedding?
And
Can
you
you?
show up there with your
Yeah.
iPhone.
And you
My,
don't need a license. You don't need a,
No.
you don't have to produce any evidence. It's
like,
just, hey, I
look at
got
my
this camera.
Instagram feed.
I am.
My
Yeah.
my receipt is my license. Well, I've had that happen to me. I mean, because I didn't go to school for photography. I mean, I definitely faked it till I sort of made it, but and not really made it, but sort of. But I did take photography classes. I forgot about that. I had darkroom experience. Never mind. I take that back. I'm real.
Yeah. You
Um,
legit. You're legit.
yeah. All right. David, you fake
Yeah,
though.
I took one lighting class in college, but yeah, that wasn't my major.
You sort of real. You sort of real. No, but it's like I've been to, you get your first camera or whatever, and especially for photography, I think it's a thing where you get into this thing where you're comparing like your equipment to other photographers. I feel like a lot of photographers show up and just like, oh well, look what I've brought. It's a lot of,
Yes, there is. It's
yeah,
very competitive.
and it's like it's like an interesting thing because you have to battle with that. I mean, as your photographer, even if you don't have the like most expensive stuff or whatever, you got to have that confidence of like, no, but you just because you bought that doesn't mean you can shoot like what I can
Yeah,
shoot.
but I mean,
Right. The camera doesn't make the picture.
Yeah.
It's the
I've told
photographer.
well, there's one person specifically. They probably won't hear this, but I've told them that several times. They're like, "Our pictures aren't that good. I need a bigger, I need a
Calling
better
out.
camera. Let me use your camera. My pictures will come out better." But it's like, no, they're still gonna. They might be better focused or whatever. But if you don't know how to take a good picture, you won't take a good picture no matter what camera you're
Yeah.
using. Because,
Tell them if you
So
really want
true.
good pictures, you need to find that little girl that you gave
well, I
your
mean,
camera
I
to.
think it's you have to be creative and you have to think ahead. You have to think through like what's gonna look best. Because I've taken some really really good pictures with like
Yeah,
my old flip phone that I used to have like way back in like 2000 something,
yeah,
and I wish I still had some of those pictures because they were
Hmm.
really really good pictures, and it wasn't even a good camera. Like the camera on my phone now is probably like 10,000 times better than that, but it's just about like
Yes.
you have to be
yeah,
creative and know kind of know what's gonna look good and picture and lay it out and all that stuff in your head. It's not just like holding your hands up and
That's
making a little
yeah,
right.
square with your hands. You got to do more than that. It's most of it's in my head, honestly, because
yeah,
I'll see something happening. I'm like, oh snap! If I was on the other side right there, I could take a really good picture of that, and then I'll just walk over there and take it.
yeah.
Mm.
I mean, if you have good composition, I mean, I think as an artist, like you have that. Like also,
Yeah,
I mean, most artists will have that.
Hmm.
If I mean, if you're a good artist, you have an eye for composition, and so it's no that's the basis of taking a good photograph. Then
Yeah.
you learn how to do everything else, the lighting and everything else after, But yeah, because
Right.
without that, it's going to be a
would you
terrible
like to
photo
let
with perfect
the
lighting.
actual photographer comment on that?
No, no, I just remembered I took classes, so I forgot.
Hilarious.
But no, I mean it's an interesting thing.
Yeah, I just have one
Yep.
camera and one lens, and yeah, you will get like I have felt like ashamed because my lens was all like I have a little 50 millimeter or 35 millimeter, and it's not all long and
That's a prime. That's
yeah,
a
but
prime
I don't
lens,
know.
man.
I
People pay
paid a
good
hundred,
money for that.
but I got it on sale on Amazon. but
That's good money.
but yeah,
That's a good
you see
lens.
people with like the massive lenses and all like 4 or 5 cameras, and you feel like intimidated. I've definitely felt intimidated. Like, nah, I'm not gonna pull it out.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Me too.
I mean, yeah, you just got to do what you got to do because you don't know what they're doing. I mean, honestly, I think a good part of the time they're just doing it for the look. I don't know. They just want to look like they're doing something. I
yeah.
don't know. Or just do like me. I mean, I only personally own two lenses, but I will go drive up the street to Aperture Rent in a second and rent whatever I need. So, and
Yep.
I'll be out there with everybody else.
Yes, goodness. I faced that a lot. I just recently shot a huge graduation for a university, and there was a team of us, and we're on the same team. But when it's time to get the shot,
Oh yeah.
everybody goes hard, and there was some huge lenses, like the kind you see on the
Hmm.
side of a sporting event, on the side of a football field,
Wow.
and we're in a church, so I'm just
Hey,
like,
is that a Hubble telescope?
Like,
right,
could you go stand outside in the lobby with
like,
that? You don't even need to be in the building to shoot with that.
okay, yeah. But I mean, I had to, just refocus and say, you know what, I'm here
Mm.
to tell my side of the story, and nobody has my eyes, nobody has my mind. And so,
Yeah.
just like I'm not thinking the same way you're thinking. And so I would go to the other side of the stage, or I actually went behind the speaker and just ran up on the stage during the commencement and like shot out, watching him speak to all of the
Mm.
700 and something graduates. And I was like, okay, well, if you're
Yeah.
there, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go over there and just try
Yeah.
to work around, the event, work the angles, get
Yeah.
different
Yep.
perspectives on it.
That's a good life lesson in general. I mean, like yeah, just find your way to. I think they call like that's the blue ocean strategy. It's like go where nobody else is. There's something that you can get from that
Yeah,
angle. Uh,
definitely.
So
All right. So the reason why we brought you on this podcast, aside from your expertise and knowledge, was to talk about something that happened recently. So recently, you took a picture. Do you want to tell us about it?
Mm, sure. I got a call to shoot an engagement session for an older couple. I happen to know them, and I know him very well. So he's 70, she's 67. So as soon as I got the call, I was excited because it's something different. And so we met up at the park, and on the way out the door, I'm just like, I need something. Like, I need something. So I saw a black foam board, some chalk, and I was like, I don't know what I'm writing on this, but it's coming with me and we're going to use this somehow. So we get to the session and I started shooting, and all of a sudden I told him, hey, let's just write "She Said Yes" on here. So I wrote it, gave him the sign. I was like, just look excited, hold it up, and just look excited. He was like, oh, that's not hard because I'm standing next to this beautiful woman. I mean, come
All
on.
right. Well,
So
not
he
what I
was
meant, but all the time.
oh, he was like, you don't have to tell me that, be excited. So he held up the sign. We took the picture, and as soon as he held it up, people just started cheering because we were in the middle of a busy park. There was a concert going on, concert in the park. So there were hundreds of people there. But
Oh, wow.
people, once they saw that, and it was like, oh, they're engaged. I mean, people started cheering. People started following us around, taking pictures with their cell phones. And so I was just, kind of taking note, like there's something unique about them. People were drawn to them
Mm.
and they just couldn't keep their hands off of each other. I would turn around to take a picture and they would just be over there kissing. I'm like, okay, wait, hold on, wait. Oh, acting
Hopefully
like
in the
some
rain.
right. But there was just something special about them. I could tell it when I walked up. People were just they were like drawing people to them like a magnet. People were literally just following us around saying, "Oh, they're so cute. Oh, no, no." So it was just an amazing experience, one, to do the session. A couple days later, his family, they're all working together for the wedding. They were like, "Hey, let's pick some favorites. Let's post it on, Facebook and make this announcement that he's getting married." They put it out there, and I noticed that it had about 100 shares in the first day on Facebook. And I said, okay, he's actually a well-known guy here in our local city. So it didn't really shock me that it had been shared 100 times. He's well known. And so I said, okay, no problem. The next day I'm at church and some of the teenagers were like, Miss Snell, the picture you took is going viral. Like it's all over Instagram. And literally my stomach just when I saw the image and the difference it was from when I sent it to them, because I was very clear when I sent it to the family and the wedding planners, my logo stays just because I knew he was a well-known guy in Huntsville. I knew it was going to kind of blow up. So I was like, hey, let's capitalize on this. I want my logo on every single thing that do not crop it, don't alter it, anything. By the time I see that it's gone viral, it's a totally different
Crop
image.
Like two white
me.
people in the picture. They photoshopped it.
Oh my.
Yeah, they took it and created a meme. Like it was like a totally different image. It was pixelated and grainy.
Well, maybe it's good they took your logo off. It's like all blurry, like shot by Gianna Snell. Like, no, I didn't shoot that one.
Yeah. Yeah, because you could have your logo on there, and they've changed the words on the sign or something wild, and it could. I hope I didn't give anybody any ideas just then. So.
Actually,
No.
the guy did that. Like he took off my logo, put his logo on the bottom. It had 20-some thousand likes just on his page alone. So there was a lot of stuff going on. But I tell you, when I first saw the image and I looked it up for myself and saw that it had been posted and that there were 30,000 likes, and on just one share, I was literally sick to my stomach. I lied to you not. I was just like, this is the worst thing that could ever happen to me because I'm getting, this picture, this image that I created is having all of this popularity, and nobody knows I shot it. And I was just like, this has gone beyond Huntsville, beyond Alabama. This is like, people from all different type of countries are sharing it. And I called my father and had a quick PR meeting on the way home and said, I don't know what to do. This is a disaster. I can't get it back. And he was like, oh, yes, you can. And he walked me through some steps on how to bring it back and what to do.
So what did you do first?
Any of that you're willing to share?
Well, thank you. That's it. All right. Well, let's wrap it.
to make sure I wasn't
That
talking
was
too
a
much
dramatic
and
pause.
going down the right track.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. Yeah, no. I was waiting for the tips. I was like, all right.
Well, obviously, the first thing was nobody knew I took it, and there was the family and the event planners were going around as much as they could and going to the different posts and saying, "Hey, Gianna Snell photography took this. Please tag her. Please tag her. Please tag her." Okay, you can never catch up with all of the people, and
Yeah.
even the ones that you do, they're going to your social media first to see if you really took this image because everybody's saying they took it.
Yeah.
So the first step was get the picture on your social media, the entire picture, and more pictures from the session so that it's clear that you were the photographer. And I had not done that. I mean, I had put, maybe one, the same image, but I had not put anything up on my personal thing because I was seeing it, blow up on his page. So I said, well, that's nice. They tagged me as cool. But so I came home that night. I went to work. I put the images on my Facebook, my Instagram, uh, and just tried to, put it out there. But I was still kind of wondering how, okay, what is that going to do? The next thing that came to me was as I was reading the quote on the different pages where it went viral, people were saying, I would love to know their love story. Like, how did they get together? Just random people. Oh man, I would love to read their story. Essence should do a story on them. And oh my goodness, I was like, I write. They told me their love story after the session. They told me how they got together, and I was literally holding back the tears. I need to write this down. So I literally stayed up all night, and I was so sleepy. I was just like, God, I just want to go to sleep. But it was just something in me that was saying, this is your time. You have to do this now. You can sleep later, 2 days from now, but you got to ride this wave. So I wrote the story, wrote up everything I could remember. The next day I called them and said, listen, I got to get this up on my blog. People need to know how you all got together. Can you help me answer the questions? Are you okay with me sharing this with the world? And they were like, absolutely. So I interviewed them both again just to fill in the gap and posted the story on my blog. I'm actually also was a journalism major, so I'm just calling up some old skills.
Hey, see, that's not wasted. That's not a wasted, you know.
But it was actually honestly it was a challenge for me just because when I read blogs they're more conversational, just kind of like how we're talking now versus journalism, hey, stick to the story, you have to use these quotations here, you can't start a sentence with and, just different things.
Like
I
fake news.
Right. And there's just two different styles in my mind. And so
Mm.
it stretched me. When I say I was up all night agonizing and deleting, and even when I hit send at 4 o'clock in the morning, because of course I'm trying to incorporate the images with the quotes. And, after you read one paragraph about their first kiss, I'm going to put the image of them kissing from the session, or, just trying to incorporate all of that. And then, of course, putting the viral image in there. So I'm just trying to put all of this together. And when I say it was not great, like when I went to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning, I woke up the next morning and I read the first paragraph and I was like, horrible. It said love. Everyone wants it. Everyone. I was like, this is horrible. But so I mean, I literally woke up with how to change it. Like there were inspiration just came in little bits and pieces. And right before I sent it to the family, I was able to change all of that. And finally, it just kind of came together at the last minute. So that day, I'm good. I'm like, hey, the story's on my blog. I've linked it to a few places that have, the pages that had gone viral. And I'm like, okay, hey, I took this picture and if you want to read more about this couple, check out my blog, link in my bio on Instagram. So I'm just like, I'm good. I got to take my husband. He's got to have surgery today. I'm going to take a few minutes to just breathe and not deal with this. So I'm literally dropped my husband off for some dental thing he had to do. And the family started texting me and they were like, hey, you need to
Getting a
get
gold grill.
more right. They told me, hey, you need to get some more images up because you did put one or two from the session, but you need to put some more up because we're getting more people that are sharing. I was like, well, I'm gonna do it later. I need to, there's a few things I want to just tighten up on the story because I had shared it with the family, but not like fully put it out there. Like, I'll just wait. She called me back 10 minutes later and said, Niecy Nash just shared the photo. Get the stuff up. I was like, I am at a dentist's office in the car with my kids. Like, I'm not at my computer, but I was like, wait, I have the images on my phone. I can access. Let me get something up right now. So I had to go back and just, kind of put something out there again to say this is my work. So it was just a continual process.
Mm.
So did that, went back to DC Nash's and all those, said, hey, link back to me. A few of them did it, most didn't, but it's okay. So that night, I was like, well, I'm gonna rest. But I say the how y'all go into that on here, but God would not let me rest. He told me to get up and send it to all of the news agencies, send my story and the
Mm.
pictures together on to the local news agencies. So I did that, and I sent it not just the local, but I sent it to like Good Morning America, Ellen DeGeneres Show, like whoever I
Mm.
could think of in my delirious state. Like, hey, let me send this
World
link.
Star.
Right.
World Star does have some stuff like this on there every once in a while.
So yeah, man. So I was just like, okay, I'm really delirious, but we got to get this done. Like, and my dad kept telling me, you have to ride the wave. It's here. So do whatever you can do to reclaim this moment. And so I was just sending it. The next morning, phone calls started calling. Phone started ringing, and the local news called me and said, "Hey, want to set up an interview with you and with the couple, and we want to use your photographs." And I was just shocked they even wanted to include me in in the
Uh,
interview. But I was like, "Hey, I'll show up." And they ended up not using me. And at first, I was disappointed because I was just like, I went and got my hair done. I was running the cleaners. So
I
like, I
gel
gotta
my
be
baby
ready,
hairs down.
right? On. I mean, and so at first I was low key disappointed. They were like, "We really want
So
to
why
tell the
did you
couple
call me?
story." I said, "You know what? I
Why don't you
right,
wait over there in the corner and just take
yeah,
some
they
pictures if you like.
exactly. They got to the end of the interview and it was like, you know what? On second thought, we're not gonna use you anyway, but we're still gonna use your images." And after I thought about it, I said, the
Yeah.
images speak more for me than I ever can, because that's language is,
Mm.
my pictures. And so I said, please show my images. I'd rather, you know, I could stand up there and ramble off a quote because she said all we were going to use anyway was, hey, how did you feel about going viral? I felt great. And then they're going to cut you off. Look,
It's like, who was that?
this is not a good look anyway. It's like, wait, they cut her off. So I was like, show the images. Um, by the next day, um, CNN called my phone. My phone. I was just like, what? This is crazy. May
Like
we have
Anderson Cooper?
permission? Right. She was like, may we have permission to use your images and send them out to our 900 affiliates across the world? Yeah.
Let me check. Hold on just a
Put my
second. I need
logo
to
on there.
check.
All right. Atlanta Journal Constitution contacted me. Yahoo. And now we're seeing the article that was originally published by the local news affiliate. It's been translated into Spanish, Japanese, all of these other languages. So it's amazing that this love story has captivated the
Hmm.
world, um, just because of this cute little couple. And so with each one, I've noticed that they have to have the permission of the photographer. And so I get emails, calls, Facebook messengers. So I have to stay close by because people are saying, hey, we want to run this. I saw Ricky Smiley shared it, Eric Campbell, all different types of people. And it's been a whirlwind. It's been
Mhm.
amazing.
So, with all that happening, like it seemed like you had to kind of scramble to get back into like, well, to get everything arranged so that you could, properly take advantage of going viral. Um, is there anything like you wish you had done ahead of time that would have helped you take better advantage of this? I mean, because obviously there's no way of knowing what's going to go viral and what's not. But is there anything that you could have done
Exactly.
or would have done differently had you suspected or whatever? Besides watermarking your images more, like watermark on their face.
Yeah.
Or right on
Right.
people's faces.
And it's funny you say that because I am, you have that visual artistic eye. And so sometimes, me personally, I feel like the watermark can sometimes be distracting to the
Yep.
beauty of the image.
Yeah.
So I always am very particular. I don't just go through and say, okay, all of these 10 pictures I'm about to post, put the watermark in the upper right corner. It depends on the image, if it's vertical, if it's horizontal,
Mhm.
how they're positioned. And so on that particular one, he's holding up a sign with words on it. So I felt like the words needed to be as far as possible. But I definitely, now that I look back on it, that would have been the first thing I would have done is just include the watermark closer to where people tend to kind of crop
Mm-hmm.
images,
Yeah.
because now people have the option to pin your images on, Pinterest or share them, and they don't always fit in certain things, and so people just naturally, and a lot of times it's not even intentional. My clients do it all the time. I tell them, do not crop, leave my
Just crop
watermark,
immediately.
and you know you set it as your profile image. There's already a set crop. You don't realize you can move it, and you're just like, well, it made me do that, and sorry. And
Yeah.
so, now I'm definitely more aware of, okay, this is what people are probably going to do. Let me try to put it there, where it's in the line of
Yep.
sight.
Yeah. That's always an awkward thing. It's just like that. Just yeah. Because I know what you mean. How it feels like it takes away from the
Yeah. And
image. But I mean, I guess when people actually put it on their wall or wherever or something like that, then it won't be
yeah,
there.
that's
So
right. That's true. It's just for these are the rules for social media. This is the new normal. There are going to be watermarks on everything.
yeah.
And even with all the watermarking, you can't
Yeah.
control it. Photoshop, push a button, it's gone. So you can't control it all that much, but at least it kind of discourages people from,
Yeah, the
altering their
casual
image.
user.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I had some of the major, by the time it got to ABC News, Good Morning America, they were calling me and saying, listen, I'm glad the logo is here right next to the sign now, because of course I started posting it with my logo like right next to the man's face. Like, because I was just so overboard. But they literally called me and said, "Listen, this logo, can you please take it off? Just
Mm.
just for this image. We feel like it really distracts from the sign, and this is going to be on our home page, and this is going to be on the front of our." And they're like, "We'll leave it on the other ones, and of course, photo credit." And so by the time you get to a major news company, they know, okay, we have to credit the
Right.
photographer. I mean, we'll get into big trouble if we don't. So they're going to do the right thing, and they did.
Yeah.
Each picture had it at the bottom. And so I was, at first I was like, wait, well, I said, no, that's fine. The
Yeah.
knot.com, which is, a major wedding website where people come to look for vendors and host wedding websites, they have contacted me and said, we want to do a feature story on this couple, and we want to use your images, but we don't want
Mm.
any logos on them. And so I was like, it's
Yeah.
the knot. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So I've had to like adjust because if they had called me day one, I would have been, oh no. Oh no. You know what I'm saying? Just because I was just so wound up, But it's just been a natural progression of saying, okay, let me adapt. Let me, learn how people do things, because these are professionals, reputable websites. They're not going to, put some images out there and
Right.
not credit you.
Yeah.
And so they told me, hey, we'll make sure that people know these are your images. But it just, again, when you're putting some big images on a major website, they want people to focus on the imagery. And that's
Yeah.
what I want to ultimately. I want them to look at the beauty of the image and then go and
Yeah.
look and say who took it instead of being
Yeah.
like, hey, Gianna Snell took this. That's clear.
I
What is
wish
this
I
a
could see
picture of?
past this watermark.
Right. And so I've had to kind of relax a little bit.
Just says, please email Gianna for actual photos.
Right. The
I
other
mean,
thing has been just trying to stay focused because there are going to be somebody every day who is saying, well, why don't you do this? Or, oh my God, you need to react to this and you need to do that. And right now, as my dad put it, you're dealing with a crisis,
Mhm.
but it's a good crisis. So right now, you've just got to
Mhm.
navigate through the crisis. And after you can go back and say, you know what? I probably should tweak my website. This would have been easier to navigate through. What can I do differently? How can I change my business so that, you know, if this happens again, or as new clients come in, hopefully, I'm able to keep up and do the right thing and present myself in a professional manner. But, for instance, trying to your picture just went viral. News vendors are contacting you. Some of them are going to my website and literally emailing me through my website. Well, that's not the day that you decide, oh my God, my website sucks.
Redesign
Let me
it.
rebuild it.
Yeah. Taking it down.
That's
Coming soon page.
yeah. And so I had some people say, well, oh my gosh, you need to take down the site. It's just not, I can't do that right now. And, at first it got into my head and I was like, oh shoot, let me go and just totally redo it. And then again, my dad was like my main PR sidekick. He was like, no, that's not the move right now. People are trying to reach you. They want to see you. Seeing you at maybe
It's
not
better
your
than not
best
seeing you.
state, in someone's opinion, is better than not finding you.
Yeah.
I did go and edit down some of my homepage images and put up some fresher images and kind of tweak. But I was like, I cannot take the site down. I can't just completely close stuff down. I've had other people come to me and say, "Hey, you need a lawyer. Let's get this money."
Sorry, that was me.
CNN ain't paying you, da 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 da. And I'm just like, okay, I'm trying to navigate through this as best. You cannot predict this stuff. You can't. You
Yeah.
can't. You never know what's gonna go viral. It's not something you can predict, and so we just kept saying, ride the wave, because I know that wave is gonna come crashing down, and the world will go back to
Yep.
the normal. But while it's up, I
Yeah.
truly do believe that we were able to turn this thing around because now there's no question who took the image. There's no
Yeah.
question. You can Google viral couple Lucinda and Murphy, and my name is attached to it. And so at the end of the day, the worries and fears I had of that night are completely eradicated because it completely turned around, totally turned around. And the couple is getting sponsors for doing stuff for their wedding. I've been
Wow.
getting some inquiries and just a lot more visibility. A
Yeah.
lot of things may not happen right away. Phone might not start ringing off the hook today. But just having that free publicity and being able to say now I'm a published photographer,
Right.
um, it's priceless to me.
Yeah, and I was thinking about something like, I mean, because of course you're worried that people will crop it out and then these people won't give you credit or whatever. But like honestly, the people that really, the actual movers and shakers are the people that they'll contact the right people. They'll find you.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
These people that are cropping your stuff out or whatever, they're
Yeah,
not
they
going
ain't
to
got no
send you
money.
work anyway.
Ray at home making memes.
My dad said that night. Right. My dad said that night, and it truly turned my perspective because he was like, "Those aren't your clients. These aren't your people. Don't
Yeah.
worry about that." He was like, "Focus on turning this around for you and your local community and your surrounding area. Just focus there first, and then see where it goes. But going after some random person on Instagram who, you know,
Yeah, they liked your photo and they went on and liked like 10 others. You have no idea what they're.
Well, I was
Yeah.
gonna say the
Right.
thing I
And
kind of took from the whole story was like, you got to let your work speak for itself on some level. And well, two
Yeah.
things: you got to let your work speak for
Mhm.
itself, because you could have easily gotten out, made a YouTube video, and said, "Oh, well, I was on Facebook and I saw JJ53. He posted my picture and didn't credit me, and I was the one who had took it." And you could have, like, I've seen people do it, and it gets them some attention, but it's
Yeah.
like, all right, she's messy. Yeah, it's for the
For
wrong
the
thing, and then
wrong
it's like, all
thing,
right, I
yeah.
don't necessarily want to work with
Right.
her because she's kind of messy, and she's gonna make a YouTube video if I'm upset at the shoot and I do something crazy, then she's gonna make a YouTube video about that too. So by letting the work speak for itself, it's like, I know the name of the person who took this, but I haven't seen her. But that's okay. Her work is good. I don't need to see her in front of the camera, or I don't need to see an interview with her to know that her work is
Mhm.
good, because I see her work. Her work is speaking for itself. And then the other thing I was gonna say is, like,
Yeah.
uh, someone else has said this before. Not every opportunity has a paycheck attached to it. So if you had said to the
Yeah.
knot, like, "Yo, let me, what those pockets do though? Let me get some money," then they might have said, "Ah, we're good." There's plenty of people with chalkboards
Yeah.
that say she said yes. Like, we can find somebody else.
Yeah.
But if you're willing
Oh
to,
yeah.
like, say, "Hey, go, I'll give you the picture without the logo or whatever," because I recognize the bigger opportunity, then
Yeah.
it only translates into more. So yeah.
I think it's easy. I mean, especially in the case where something goes viral, it can be easy probably to fall into a trap of thinking like I can't make this happen again, or like a if I don't
It's
achieve
over
this
for me.
again, then you know it was
Mhm.
like a fluke. Like I ain't really real out here. Because I mean, there's a lot of people that go viral for things, but I mean, thankfully you went viral for something that can actually it's something good. It's a good
Mhm.
story. People need that kind of thing out here, and in Trump's America. They need something good. So,
Mhm.
I'm uplifting, but you actually had the things like the website and everything. Even if you didn't feel like it was perfect, you had a contact page, you had a website. I mean, you already had your logo there. It wasn't just some like, you got lucky and took a picture and it's like, who's a photographer? Oh, this girl over here. Does she have a website? Nope.
Sorry.
All right, well, oh well. Yeah, 'cause now you're
Yeah.
fully able
Well,
to
that's
capitalize on
where
it. So.
hopefully,
Yeah.
in most cases, you'll be above and beyond what we were talking about earlier, like the person who went on Craigslist and found an old Nikon. They might not have a website. They might not have an Instagram. Their social media might not match. They might not have a contact page. So they might take that same picture, but it might not pop off for them.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, and it's also the people in it and everything that also lend itself to that. But I mean, and that's all use. I mean, I think what people may be getting from it is I don't know, just how it would be to do a shoot with you.
Mhm.
Because people like people they feel comfortable around. A lot of stuff is word of mouth. I mean, it's talent and it's, word of mouth, who and
Mhm.
hard work and everything. So now you have that connect.
Yeah.
And people will kind of have a feeling. It's like, oh, okay, wow, this is how it is to shoot. I mean, like all those people that were walking around following, them in the park and everything, you may get a calls from them, or something
Yeah.
like that.
Never
So,
know.
because I didn't realize it was like that. That's wow.
Yeah, they had a crowd now, so now you can imagine what the wedding's gonna be like. And they
Oh,
asked me here recently, now they're like, "We want you to continue telling the story. We want you to, photograph the wedding." And so for me, that's a huge opportunity because the lady at Good Morning America and abcnews.com was like, "Hey, after the wedding, we want pictures." So the story continues.
mm.
People are kind of captivated with this couple, and so I'm just look, still riding the wave. But I
Like
think
I'll be there.
there are gonna be moments in your career and your journey where I've always been kind of a person to just by nature, I'm a little more passive and I'm just
Hmm.
like, okay, let it come to me. But there were definitely times where I had to fall back and say, hey, let let them do it. One instance was there was somebody contacted me um, from a major newspaper. I can't remember what it was right now, but it was a national, you know, publication. And they called and said, "Hey, we're interested in the story." She interviewed me for 45 minutes, talking to me about my perspective on the shoot. and just getting information about the couple as well. She came back later and she was like, I submitted the story, but my editors don't think it's newsworthy enough. Oh, this was CBS. CBS.
Mm.
She's like, they don't think it's newsworthy enough. So I'm hoping they'll come back around, but unfortunately right now it's a no-go. So of course I felt hesitant, and sometimes you can just sense when you need to fall back and just let it ride, and then you can sense when you need to speak up. Well, this was a time where I needed to fall back, but I did not listen to that. And I said, well, CNN picked it up, ABC News, hey, you got to jump on this.
You're like, hey, I'm popping out here. I don't know.
I wasn't trying to say, I'm trying to be as tactful as possible, but like, I really feel like it's newsworthy because CNN picked it up, and the lady never messaged me again. Like, we were deep in conversation. She never messaged me again. The story didn't get run. CBS has not picked it up at all. And I lost out on that because, they're just, you have to follow your instincts. And, there are always going to be times where you need to push. And I feel like the time when I needed to push was that night when I was feeling impressed. Hey, send this out. Don't depend on anybody else. Because I kept saying, well, people sharing the story more. The picture's cool, but hey, share the whole package. And that's when it was up to me to put myself out there and start calling people and, emailing people and saying, hey, pick this story up. This couple is cute.
Yeah.
But then there were times where I needed to just be quiet.
And you start feeling yourself. It's like, hey, I'm popping out. You're like, hey.
Right. You got to jump on this.
I'm Gianna Snell.
So there were definitely very many humbling moments where, I was like feeling myself one day because I was excited. CNN, I was feeling myself that day and I was just like, oh my God, they called my phone. But, you always have to kind of, go back and get recentered and say, okay, I still have to keep my head. I still have to, you never know when you'll be contacted by these people again or, where they'll need me because I am a journalist and I am a photographer, a photojournalist. So I'm like, hey, I could be working for these people one day.
That's
need to
true.
carry my certain way and not be too aggressive. You can't push too much.
Yeah, you don't want to sound desperate or what's the word for it? Well, I've been thirsty. Yeah.
Well,
I was trying to think of it. Never mind. Go ahead.
So I guess going viral had I was going to ask, has it impacted your business? But I guess it's still happening. The impact is happening. I guess you'll probably never really. I imagine you'll never really know all the impact that it has because people won't even realize like, well, so what had happened was I liked the picture on Facebook and then I fell in love with this girl and I called you.
Well, one of the cool things is I had been really searching and trying to find out. Again, there's 50,000 photographers in the city. I'm just exaggerating, but
it's actually 49,000. We deal in facts on this podcast.
50,000. It's 50,000 people with cameras in the city.
Like that. One guy who does not claim to be a photographer.
Yeah, and half of these people just popped up, yesterday, but they're taking good images. So I have been really trying to figure out what is my specialty? What is my niche? Okay, so as I'm looking at this blog that the initial pitch that I thought was just so horrible, but I kept tweaking it and it finally came together. So there have been 23,647 visitors to the blog.
Oh, wow.
And people have been reading it and commenting and sharing. And so as I'm looking at that, I'm saying, okay, this writing, there may be something to writing people's stories, not just shooting their stories or photographing their stories, but writing.
Yeah.
I'm shooting a breast cancer survivor in September. She does a shoot every year just to say I made it another year. That's an opportunity.
That's a story, yeah.
Yeah. So I've been looking forward and saying, how can I incorporate this knack of writing? Because I hadn't been using my blog. I hadn't. And there's certain things that happen that push you to do what you should have been doing.
Yep.
And this is one of them where it's like, hey, I've been saying I'm gonna blog my pictures, but better believe I got that blog going that night. Like it's going down. I have no choice. So, and I'm seeing that the visitors are still happening. So I'm like, hey, there's something here. And I feel like a lot of the stories, even down the line, could actually be newsworthy.
Yeah.
So I'm like exploring that side of things and saying there's another lesson to be learned here. This may be my niche. This may be my thing, you know? So,
That's really interesting. I mean, because did you think that you would use that, like the journalism, when you were a journalism major? Had you just kind of like, well, not using that?
gave up on it. I truly did because I used to work at a newspaper in Mississippi. I freelanced for the paper in Kentucky where we lived before we moved here. But since, the brick and mortar newspaper buildings are kind of being phased out and everything's moving to online, a lot of that stuff I said, well, journalism isn't really my passion. It's really the photography. But when you combine the two, oh,
Right.
I get excited about that. And so it's been a whole new awakening for me. Oh, why did I get this gift of writing and photography? How do these go together? And now some of those questions are being answered for me. And I have a whole new sense of purpose that I'm not just shooting to give these pictures, to give these people a nice picture. I'm shooting a story. I'm telling a story. And unfortunately, some people will not live to tell their story. So one of the people I just recently shot last year, 1 year ago, on Saturday, made a year. I shot this lady's wedding because she knew that her hair was about to fall out because she was about to do chemotherapy. She was just diagnosed with breast cancer and she just passed away on Friday. And I'm like, I got to tell her story. I have to. I have to now. So I'm excited.
Yeah. No. Wow. That's that's kind of weird to follow that up with. I'm excited, but
I know, right?
It's an amazing opportunity to be able to not only
Tell
share
people
to do the visual, but also be able to tell the story. Because a lot of people, we run into a lot of people that have one part of the skill set.
Yeah.
But like, because I've in my field, like I do web design, but I also do graphic design, and I can take a picture for you too. So it's like, well, why do you need to call someone else? And in your
Right.
situation too, you could take the picture, you could write the story, and it's like, all right, well, I have skills that go together.
yeah, that's an interesting thing because a lot of times you hear people say like pick one thing and then like really focus on that. And I mean, I think we all three of us, suffer from the thing where we cannot do one thing. It's like physically impossible. And I think sometimes I oversell myself sometimes. And I'm like, I can do this, I can do this. And they're like, what is wrong with it? I mean, because it makes it sound like, all right, well, he's probably not very good at any of them or something like that. But it's like, no, I'm pretty good at all of them. But, but yeah, I mean, it's just like one of those things. I mean, so it's kind of encouraging to like hear that it actually came together. Those two things married, they came together in a good way. I mean, because sometimes it's awkward because I tell people I'm doing websites and logos, and then somehow I spit in there and photography and I paint, and then they're like, "What?"
They're like, "All right, this guy,
weirdo."
Yeah.
Oh, and did you need help fixing your car? Like,
And I have 15 cats too.
like, all right, it's been nice. We'll call you. Don't call us.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always go together like how you think, because I always thought I'll be a photojournalist. I hated photojournalism. I didn't like newspaper writing and taking pictures of like, oh, this house burned down. Let me go take shots of it and write about it. I was like, this is not my passion. But it's like literally in this past week where it's like, oh, okay, it could go together in this way. I see it now.
Yeah, I mean, and that's interesting to me because, like you're saying, you could be end up working for some of these, like, but not CBS, but some of these other places.
Anywhere but.
They are not called CBS.
Like, she's a little too thirsty. But I mean, because they can look at it and like, oh, we can hire her to do this, write the story and shoot the story. She can do two people's job. But make sure you ask for two people's pay. because they will try to.
Right.
It's like, oh, you need two people's job, or we'll pay you this half a person. Perfect.
Right. The only negative thing that has come out of this is that now everybody, I have some sessions booked and they're like, I want to go viral. We about to be viral too. And I'm like, wait.
That's extra.
There's an extra
A
fee.
little too much pressure. Right.
Call me in like 50 years. Your story's kind of weak right now.
Right. I'm just like, wait a minute. No. So,
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. Like, are you the
We
viral
met in
photographer
high
now?
school and never broke up. It's not a story.
So we were at the club and I had a few drinks and Jamal came over. Like, no, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna write up your
5
story.
years later, she asked me to marry him.
Oh gosh. No, but what if it was like a creepy story where it's like, okay, so I went home and this guy followed me home.
Like,
It's like, whoa.
I went outside and he was just standing there staring at me and we ended up falling in love.
no.
What?
Like, you could be a crime writer too, you know. They need...
Right. There's nothing beautiful about this. No.
I guess you have to. It's a problem, but it's a good problem to have to say, hey, look, you're paying me to take your pictures. If you end up on the blog, maybe. If you end up on my Instagram, maybe.
Right.
But there's no guarantee.
No.
I cannot.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can't
I mean-
guarantee anything's gonna happen except pictures get taken. That's about it.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, because that's like going viral. It's like a thing that you nobody can control it. I mean, you see people
Yeah.
trying to do things like, oh, I'm going to break the internet and stuff like that, and then failing, or
Yeah.
it's not something you can control. I mean, there's so many people, especially on social media, are just thirsty for any kind of like attention for anything. So it's like,
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know. A lot of people want attention, but it's kind of nice to see somebody get attention that it's like people that weren't necessarily looking for attention. You know?
Right. Because I was like, huh? What? No.
Yeah.
Well, that was
But-
one thing I was gonna say. Is like it's great that you were able to get all this attention for something that you actually like doing and something you wanted to do well. Whereas, like, because I've
Yeah.
designed logos for
Yeah.
people, and then they're like telling everybody, and it wasn't even a logo I liked. It was just like, all right, here, take this. Like I designed logos. They picked the worst one of the bunch, and then they were really proud to tell everyone that I had done it. And I'm like, chill. Like, yeah, I did it, but you ain't gotta tell everybody.
Oh my
And
goodness. You should make better
No,
logos.
hey, I made good logos. They picked the worst one, and then they wanted to tell everybody. And like in your situation, I feel like it was a good picture, and obviously, I feel like you obviously seemed like you were proud of it. But it would suck if like it wasn't a picture you were happy about, and they were like, "Woo, Gianna Snell!"
Or you almost, or what if you like almost didn't share that one? You're like, no, that one, I cut that one out. I didn't edit that one. It would have been, oh my goodness.
It's funny that you should say that because
Oh.
my
Uh-oh. The truth comes out.
me, my dad, and my husband were just like, man, this wasn't the best image from the shoot though. Like, dang. So that was another motivation. When my dad had that talk with me that first night, he was like, just being real. That
It's not
image
that
was
good.
not, he's like, so he's like, you got to get that other work out there.
Yeah.
Anybody can take a picture of somebody holding up a sign,
It's like,
And
what are
then
you
there-
saying, Dad?
No, but I agreed. I was like, dang it, why did that picture have to go viral? But it said something without having to include a caption. She said yes. So
Yeah.
it made sense for them to use that as the announcement
Yeah.
photo.
I think that's the frustrating thing sometimes as artists, like the thing that you get out of it, not everybody's going to appreciate it on the same level as you.
Right.
And you kind of have to find a way to kind of let it go, like divorce or like step away,
Yes.
separate yourself from it a little bit. I was listening to something today and they were saying like you do some work and then you need to be able to, you put it out in the world and you need to be able to like just let it live on its own, And of course have all your stuff in place or whatever, but don't force people. It's like, no, you should be using this one to go viral. Not that one, because I don't know. People like things for different reasons. I mean, and sometimes I know I get frustrated sometimes, and I'm like, why don't you like this one? I put so much thought into this. You don't get it, but they like
Right.
something else, and I'm like, what?
Yes. So true. That's a good point, Ann.
Got one in. Good.
All right, now that you've done that, we're wrapping up.
Yeah. With this, all that build up for my one good. So I guess we I guess where can people find you now that we've talked about all that? Where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me at www.gianna, Gianna, Snell, Snell, photography.com. And I just want to give a shout out to my logo designer. Big ups to Dave.
Oh.
You didn't know I did that logo?
Is she the person that picked the worst logo?
I love my
She's
logo.
like, she got all over CNN now, and I don't even like that.
So yeah, I'm bringing you with me, Dave. Bringing you with me.
Like I always say, you gotta feed your circle. So
there you go. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. Same thing, Gianna Snell or Gianna Snell Photography. I also have a Facebook photography page as well.
Yep. So if you're one of the 5 or 6 people that listen to this podcast, definitely. Well, after this,
hey, it may be more now.
We're about to go viral. So yeah, definitely check out her work. I like it. Apparently, some people on Facebook do too. So definitely check it out. If you're in Huntsville, Atlanta, Cashville, Hunts Vegas, Hotlanta, Athens,
Madison, Alabama, Harvest, Alabama,
Athens,
I don't even know any other cities.
Arab,
Muscle Shoals,
Stone Valley,
Stevenson,
Gurley.
Where you at? Throw your head.
Cleveland, Tennessee, Collegedale. I don't even know the name of all those other little cities. But yeah, definitely.
Somerville.
Wow.
Well, no, you don't want to go Somerville.
But yeah, if you're looking for a photographer, definitely hit her up. If you just want to look at some nice pictures and read some inspiring stories about what's behind the picture, definitely check them out. Because sometimes it's definitely, I'll say for me, you'll see a lot of these pictures and they look good, but it's also nice to be able to read the story and it kind of adds some perspective to what's going on. So definitely check her out. You should also follow us and check us out because we know other cool people that can take good pictures or build good websites or create good logos for you. So check us out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.